guys, hello Mayor Meets, everybody. It's me, Somebody Delaney. I'm here, Camise like I usually am, and now it's 17 degrees Celsius outside, so it's pretty warm. And I had 2 pieces of pizza because it came in a pack of 2, and 2 donuts and a Diet Cherry Coke. And I want to talk about something different today. We'll talk about the Palladians, sometimes known as the Nordics. Now, who are they? Why are they around? And what's their purpose? Well, the Palladian star cluster has it's a group of solar systems that have many localized races, and they, well, and the Syrians and Arcturians have invested much into Homo sapiens on Earth, and the reason, I guess, is they wanted to help us develop into being responsible members of society. That's the only thing I can think of. Why would you invest in a race of people hundreds of light years away? That's a lot of money, time, energy to get here. Well, according to some people, the Pleadians, sometimes known as, related to the Nordics. Blonde hair, pillowy skin, blue eyes, kind of looks like me, right? Except my hair is not just blonde naturally, it's more like a brownish red, because I am a redhead technically. They represent a group of people that are peaceful, loving, kind, genuine, respectful entities, and that's why they work with us, is because they want to see us advance to the same level of genuine compassion. Same with the Arcturians and the Syrians, they want to see the same thing. Then you have another group. There always is another group. You know that, right? There's always going to be another group that has opposite agendas in mind. These include the Anunnaki. Now, the Anunnaki is not one particular race. Rather are several races, including the reptilians, that have opposite intention. They don't want to see us. They don't want to see us descend. They want to see us crash and burn. And why, I'm not sure, but they have delusions of grandeur to enslave us and turn us into their slaves. They want gold. And so they got us into the point where we're starting to hoard gold and money and silver and things like that. It's really for them, it's not for us. We think gold is pretty because we've been wired to look for gold because it's sought after. We don't know gold's a precious metal anyway. So yeah, it would make sense that the Pleadians, Syrians, the Arcturians, you think would be interested in the same thing. But they're not. Majority of the races that are part of them, and then also said the races, there are many races in these different star clusters. There's not just one type of race. And the Nordic ones, for example. I'll talk about that a little bit. They're about 7 feet tall. They are, majority of them are blonde haired. Many have pointy ears. Some don't. Some do. They live in places in the Pleiades. It's Tegeta, which is a very interesting city design. It's not. Tegeta is kind of like Silver Moon. It has a lot of magical spires, a lot of architecture that among Earth would be hard to imagine making because of it's highly ornamental. They have gardens in their homes. They have waterfalls in their homes. They have their homes are surrounded. Their home life surrounds their fountains that are in their homes. So these race of people are also very empathic and have telepathy as one of the tools ways to communicate with each other. Most of the pleadians are, they have, the heterosexual, but there are some homosexuals in the group as well. Many are lesbians, or there's a few male homosexuals, but it's not really the big thing for them. It's usually either heterosexual or lesbian relationships. They're highly specialized in their fields of studies. They all have this desire to see humanity on Earth expand. They're competing against the Anunnaki. They don't like what the Anunnaki did to enslave us. They want to free us. They want to see us ascend to the 5th level. Consciousness. Which a lot of us are already starting to see. People are starting to ascend to the 5th level. The only problem is no one really talks about what that means. First of all, understand levels of consciousness. Let's just, for the sake of keeping it simple, looking at levels of art, of perception. First of all, you have level 1, the dot. Infinitely, no measure of length, width, height or length. It doesn't have anything. Level 2 is the line. Level 3 is X and Y. Level 4 is X, Y, and Z. So they're giving us a 3D vision. And sometimes some people say the 4th dimension is time, which could be very well be. If you look at, they're going to say, a piece of film in a motion picture projector, each frame is a unit of time. So that if you have command of time, you can go to any particular frame in a film. Well, it's the same is true. But when you get the 5th, now that gets interesting because you start getting into something where the 4 levels I mentioned of time and space don't really match. So what is the 4th? The 4th is when you start to notice that there is, anything I can think of, I can begin to manifest. Okay? What does that mean? Manifest. You start to realize that there's more to things than just the here and now. You start to see alternative timelines. You start to see archetypes. You start to see concepts that are outside of your normal realm of concepts. It isn't until the 6th level, which most have not yet reached, which is also known as the Octarine, that you begin to see that you can manifest those things by thought. For example, if the 6th consciousness, now we're getting to consciousness now, you start to see that you can achieve anything, or just think of it. For example, let's say I was thinking, oh, yeah, I like a soda. Oh, there's a soda, right? Of course, that's me just holding the soda. So, the point is that, being able to take mind or create matter, or the idea, is something that most humans have not yet achieved. It could be done, but isn't yet a thing, okay? It's also, I'm also ninth level, which is planetary steward. So that makes sense, because I'm the North American Snow Queen. Why does the Snow Queen... What that means is, we see how everything is connected to everything else on this planet, right? Earth. And so we start to say that nothing is independent of another. So we start thinking about why the sun shines, how the sun affects the earth, the warming of the earth, the sprouting of the leaves, the trees, how it creates photosynthesis, and plants to process complex carbohydrates to make sugars. How the sun affects the rain, and the sky and the ocean, and cycles of hydrology, all these things, right? We do this. Now, once we understand that there are people from other planets, the ninth level and lower levels, that are doing the same thing. They are representing the best of their people. Then you can get to galactic consciousness, which is a lot higher, and like 12th level. And then 13th is the Godhead level, which of all the possible beings in the universe is extremely, extremely hard to reach, and I don't even think I'm ready for Godhead level. That's extreme, okay? That's where you realize that you are of godlike being with godlike abilities and can do godlike things. I mean, for example, not only can you think, hey, that'd be nice, have a nice day, and sitting in sunny French Riviera, taking a soda from Cumberland Farms in Winston, Connecticut, with a nice person sitting across from you on the beach with the seagulls and the smell of the ocean of the Mediterranean, and you can visualize that to the point where it actually becomes a thing, or you can instantly terraform a planet to your specifications. That's what the 13th level can do, okay? As a North American Snow Queen, my work, as I said, in the 9th level, involves weather manipulation, weather processing, weather control, and that works out because the fact is that we do need the weather stewards. They are a new creation that was created by Mother Earth around 2011. In fact, I was her first one installed. The rest of the roles were filled in later on. Okay? Have we done a good job? Yeah, it depends. Depends on who you ask. Not everybody agrees, and that's expected. You're never going to have everybody saying, hey, you did a groovy job this year. And some people that might say, gee, you did a lousy job this year. But I digress. So, the Nordics, as I said, are really aiming towards peace, and for the reason of being there for the people of Earth. They find special kinship to us. The same thing with the Syrians and the Arcturians. The three groups want to see humanity advance. The reptilians, and there are a few other races that are not of the Galactic Council, do not want to see humanity advance. There's a very small dissension group in the Galactic Council that don't want to see it, but there's so few that it doesn't even really seem like they have much control. They see us as servants to be exploited, and I don't think that's really a great idea, because the fact of humanity is extremely intelligent and has developed a lot of knowledge over over 100,000 plus years that humanity has been walking in a bipedal form. We have achieved a lot. Unfortunately, not at the same time we've achieved a lot, we've also created things that are not so good. For example, nuclear weapons are not something to be proud of in the world. We really shouldn't be proud of nuclear weapons. Nuclear weapons can cause extreme damage and harm and poison everything and destroy life on Earth as we know it. Nuclear power is not quite in the same league, but nuclear power is rather something that is beneficial to humankind, because we create power that provides the world, burning fossil fuels. That's great and everything, but one thing humanity has never really mastered yet is a practical way to deal with the byproducts of fission reactions. I haven't even gotten to fusion yet, because at this point, fusion is really not achievable at a level that is affordable. Doesn't mean you can't have fusion power. It means that at this moment we are not there in a way that is easy to start a fusion reaction and maintain a fusion reaction. It takes a tremendous amount of energy to create a fusion reactions to get it started, and so therefore we haven't quite achieved it yet. The best we can do is to split an atom, not combining atoms together. It doesn't mean that we won't do it. It just means that it's going to take longer. Okay? So, the fascinating thing is, I believe wholeheartedly that we human beings will achieve the ability to do fusion. But I also believe that we human beings need to overcome some of our primal urges, like war. We have to get rid of war. We have to stop thinking that it's either my way or the highway, okay? Humanity is very capable of doing great stuff. Humanity is capable of being part of the future that is going to be how we're going to ascend to the next level. That's another thing that the Galactic Council had said. They said, humanity, we're giving you the tools to do that you can expand your skill set so you can achieve these level of expansion. Now, the only thing is, you need to realize you got the tools and you need to use them. And some humans are like, let's take these DVDs they got in the mail today, yesterday. These as a prop. Because, why not? I got these in the mail. It's kind of like when you think about the Galactic Council, right? Their saying is something like this. Look, here's the deal. We got all the material you need, okay? These beautiful CDs, DVDs, the power of love and music and things like that we're making available to you. Now you have two choices. Now you can either A, accept our beautiful gift and build upon your area, or you can throw it in the garbage. Now it's up to you. No, actually I had a set of books that came with these too. I said, you can throw it in the garbage. Because somebody ordered them on me and then they sent them to me and I was like, no, I don't want the books. I didn't ask for the books. I don't. And then they sent me this gospel music. Now I like gospel music, so I was like, well, I'll look at them. Alright? So the point is that the ability is there, that you are being given the resources through those who've channeled the Galactic Council, Sorrow, and others, and who have shared with you the teachings to the Pleiadians and the Arcturians and the Syrians, that the thing is, not all humans will partake of this, and because of this, they are keeping themselves cut off from ascending. Dolores Cannon said something similar. If you want to achieve something, you gotta put the work in. Okay. For example, I'm not super skinny. Okay, I'm never gonna be a size 12 or a size 5. First of all, I'm freaking tall, so if I was a size 5, I look like this pole. Relatively speaking. Tall and lanky. I'm not going to be like that, okay? I'm always going to be a large girth, okay? But on the other hand, if I choose to stay active and I lose weight in places I need to lose weight, then that's my choice, right? I have the ability to do that. Again, free will. You have it. You can either choose to. It's just like God said, oh God, oh God, the original one. I gave you the power to love one another, to kill one another. You have free will. You can choose to do whichever one you want. I choose to love one another, and there are people who would choose the alternative. I can't say that those sides are wrong, because actually maybe neither side's wrong. It's free will, okay? So the Galactic Council has said something similar. Look, we're not here to judge you. We would love to have the Terrans part of our Galactic Council. We'd love to see you continue to grow in that way. But not all of you are going to ascend. Some of you will. Some of you won't. And the reason is because some people are just too stubborn to want to ascend. It's just, they're like kicking and screaming like a 2-year-old. I don't wanna. Don't matter if you want it. You're going to do it anyway. Sooner or later, you're going to say, I know what? I want to do more than sit around. Well then, take the advice that we all give you and make it happen. It's that simple. Um, so, are we having a movie tonight? I don't know. I didn't even look. Let's see what kind of movies I mentioned that we want to show. Probably Mad Max. I'm gonna look for it. I'm gonna try to see if I can find the movie on YouTube because it's easier for me, and I don't have to worry about downloading. It's already 4:45. By the time I get home, it'll be 5 o'clock. And when I try to grab a movie off the Pirate Bay, that would take, assuming I can get a torrent to download, it would be kind of late, so that's what I can find, okay? But like I said before, there are days I don't want to stream at all. There are days I just want somebody to say, no, not today, no. And then there are days I'm like, sure, why not? This week, this month actually, in total for many people, has been a very bizarre month. This is not, we have the blood moon, I think it's a blood moon, it's the lunar eclipse, resulting in some strange energies, strange mojo going on. Don't know why that is, but it is. There's a strange mojo. And because this strange mojo, it's just bizarre, okay? It don't make any sense. It just is bizarre. So, what are you gonna do? Well, I don't know. I mean, some things happened this week in the last 2 days that have been totally off the books, off the charts. There's just been too many strange things going on multiple levels. Number one, to see the Nordics showing up in the world. Now, I'd like to find one of my brothers and sisters visit me. I got some questions I want to know. Some first-hand information I'd love to know. So, people from Tegeta, come talk to me. I want to talk to you. You know where I am. You got my star coordinates. You know where I am. What would you like me to tell the people on YouTube? Let me know. Okay? Oh, hailing frequencies are open. Let's make this a reality. Let's bring communications to everybody. That would be wonderful. Anyway, so yeah, it's gonna be a really interesting summer. Let's talk about that real quick. What's the weather gonna be like? I believe, based on my own empirical knowledge, that summer is going to be very, very warm. I don't know if it's going to be super warm or record-breaking hot. I don't get much of that. I do see warm, very warm, but I don't see necessarily a lot of record breakers. Okay, so a lot of record breakers could happen, but I don't see that. Okay. But then again, that depends on the region you're in. Because some areas of the United States get very hot in the summer, and others usually stay mild. Okay? And we'll just have to play it by ear, see what happens. Now, because I had pizza for lunch, for example, I'm not going to be eating pizza for dinner. Okay? Just so you know that. So, what about other instabilities in the world? Weather. Wildfires. wildfires are still a possibility. We know that North Carolina has had a wildfire going for a while. I don't know where they are as far as containment, but they do have them going on. And so there's obviously a concern. What about the electricity? Oh, the power grid. All right, let's talk about what's going on here. We already see, maybe because they can feel there's a breeze, that maybe a branch is hitting some power lines. Or something is. We had a brief outage during the morning show. Nothing I could really do about it because we didn't have a backup internet connection running. Okay? But that doesn't mean that we couldn't have so a lot of things we might need to deal with. So the internet has been good now, but the power supply going to our building has been affected by these actions. Okay? Now, is that because of weather, or is that because of something else? We don't know yet. I've got a feeling that I think it's probably something on the pole on the street somewhere, that the breaker's tripping out somewhere and it's causing the power to go out momentarily. The breakers are normally self-resetting in the poles, so they usually will reclose. Okay? Now you gotta remember, those are huge amps that go through those breakers, and so obviously when they close, they probably make a horrendous racket when they when major explosive energy of all those megajoules of energy going through those contacts and the three poles. Okay? So that's something to think about. And of course, what we're talking about is we need to get power backup. So I think it's still a good option. I think it's something we should consider, because my show, when it gets cut off like that, leaves me feeling vulnerable. That OMG, you know, our internet is offline, we can't stream, can't continue the show, gotta wait for the computer to restart, gotta wait for the power system to restore itself, gotta wait for sometimes for the internet to come back up. If we had the Blue Eddy, we could have kept going. Because the power was still would have been electricity going to the studio, the monitor would still be on, the lights would be on. The internet has its own battery bank, it would still be on. So we would still have been able to keep streaming. And that's the reason why I'm thinking that we need to consider that for the long term. Because of that reason, we need to be able to keep the shows going during power outage. It's not just because I want to be up, you know, regardless of power failure, which is nice to me, but also because if the power fails and your SSD is reading or is writing a sector to the SSD, that could become very destructive to the SSD, corrupting your storage. Now, since the SSD is soldered to my motherboard of my M1 Mac Mini, if that SSD gets corrupted, because the way it works with the T2 security system, you're not going to get your hard drive back up. You're not going to get your computer back up. No matter how many times you pray to some upper crust deity, you're not going to be able to get back online. Okay? So, there is a reason why we need to consider that. So it's something to consider for in the future. Now, I know that some of these people say, why don't you get like something from APC, American Power Conversion, something like a standard UPS. Well, first of all, most of those standard ones are designed to keep your computer going for up to 10 minutes after a power failure. Okay? 10 minutes. That's it. Okay? So the batteries in those things are not designed to keep the computer running for a long time. There are some exceptions to the rule, but that's a general guideline. Most of them have a power supply that does not have a active cooling. The inverters can get overrun and get overheated. The IGBTs can fail. They're not designed to run indefinitely a long period of time. The Blue Eddy, the Jackery, I was thinking about getting the name brand because the fact that it's going to give me a long runtime, plus you get a warranty, plus you can be sure that it's going to work. That's a really big deal. If you want to keep your system going, that is important. So, that's all great, but unfortunately, somebody said Michelle doesn't want to advance her life. Michelle talks a great game but doesn't do much. Well, that's not necessarily true. Please understand, guys, I do want to advance my life. For years, I had to forego everything because of a lack of resources. Be it teeth, clothing, health care. Now it's starting to change for the better as we're starting to deal with teeth. Because I got a better insurance plan that I didn't know was an option a few years ago. Please understand that. I just said the key word. And I did not know that it was an option a few years ago. And Patty DeMar suggested we get this insurance plan because it provides the resources of dentist, vision, hearing. Yeah, we got still work with hearing aids, although that's still an option. There are many options for over-the-counter hearing aids out there. And so that's something I might consider, the hearing aid option. And now what about the new Apple AirPod 2s? That is a hearing aid that works from the phone, so I can calibrate it to my needs, to my hearing, and also acts as AirPods. Let me tell you what I'm going to tell you. I do not like the thought of putting a potentially explosive battery in my ears. Okay? Now, if the AirPods worked with a battery source that was not likely to catch fire for the AirPod 2s. And if they're affordable, I'd say fine. Now, I don't know what the prices of them are, so I'll leave it at that. Now, I do think it's a great idea. Consider working with my Apple devices, the Apple ecosystem. But the thought of potentially putting something that could burst into flames in my ears scares me a lot. Okay? A lot. I don't feel comfortable with that. So, maybe not. We'll see. So, now, anyway, so I hope you enjoyed our little talk. It's been a while. And I want to thank you for being part of the show and watching the show every day. And I do hope that you will all remain a part of the program. And if you were one of the subscribers that left, let me know why. I'm curious. Reach out to me. And stop asking me how I send money from Binance to SafePal or whatever. I can't tell you that answer. I did read the instructions to you, but clearly none of you listened. And you keep asking me the same stupid question. You export it from one and then you import it to another with your own existing stream key. Okay? That's what you do. It should almost be straightforward. Alright guys, for now, I'll talk to you later. You have a nice day. Stay safe, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.